I'm sure more people will join as we're going along. But
It's okay.
otherwise the big thing too is that we get the replayability as well once this goes out on YouTube.
Mhm.
But anyway, hey, welcome everyone to another Planet Cassandra virtual meetup. Um, Today we have Ekaterina Dimitrova uh, going ahead and giving a talk on how to start contributing to Apache Cassandra. And Ekaterina's been at this for a very long time. She has been a committer for a while, has been a member in the community for a while, and was recently just elected into the PMC. So, Ekaterina, that's pretty awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
So yeah, with that, Ekaterina, go ahead, take it away.
Okay. Well, hello everyone. As Aaron mentioned, I'm with the Cassandra community already a few years. I think I'm approaching the sixth year, and yeah, committer since 4 or 5 years, and since recently, it was an honor to become a PMC. So today we are going to talk a little bit how to start contributing to Apache Cassandra, but in general, I would say many of the things that we may mention or even discuss, because feel free to interrupt me and we can make it open discussion if anyone wants to ask something, or just raise a hand or ping me, or anything that works for you. They apply, so many things also apply to other in general Apache projects, so I hope that will be useful. Let me share my screen because I tried to make a few nice slides. I hope they worked. Okay. Can anyone confirm that you see?
Yeah, we can see your
Yep,
screen.
you're good.
Okay. Okay. Well, I mentioned already, Apache Cassandra PMC, software engineer and data stacks, and it's an honor today to be here. So who are you that you want to contribute to Cassandra? What type of personalities we are talking about? ASF and Cassandra, we'll talk a little bit how to start, where to start, because that's a very common question that people ask. It could be intimidating, especially with projects that have long history, like I think Cassandra is already 10, 15 years. There are a lot of stuff, and you're like, where should I start really? I really want, but I don't know where to start. So we'll try to get a little bit of that and talk about how to start with contributions and a bit of summary. Okay, so who are you? Who are the personas? Who can be contributing? I would say literally everyone. You can be a Cassandra user, as Aaron is a great example of someone who is sharing a lot of experience. He became a committer, he's helping a lot of people around the project, and he's been a user of Cassandra for many years and sharing a lot of experience. And that's a really amazing contribution and a way to contribute to the project and to help to spread the word and to help people to use the product. You can be also just a person looking for a side project. I have an interest in distributed systems, big data. I want to dig into some stuff. That's the beauty of open source. You can just scratch an itch somewhere, learn something new, or dig into something that you always wanted to learn how it works. Or yeah, literally just an enthusiastic person. It can be also a day job, of course. We have a lot of people for whom it could be a day job, because the beauty of open source is that it could be individual contributors, it could be also people who love the project, but they have the chance to work for companies that would like to support it, so they can do it as part of their day job, which is really amazing. As you said, it's a Cassandra user. You might be interested into how actually something was made to work the way it works. You're curious, or there was a really annoying bug that bothered you, and you really wanted to fix it. And that's the beauty of open source. You're like, well, I'm gonna just fix it. I'm gonna help people, and I'm gonna ensure that others won't be bothered by the same stuff. Or you just love us and want to contribute and to support the others. Uh, who were like for more time around coding, and deep in everything, and they didn't have time to get to it. Or you just have some great idea for improvement and you would like to work on it and suggest something new. That's really great. or if you have some use case that is valuable to share with the world, that's also a great thing. So not everything is coding. That's what I'm trying to say. So companies, as I said, for some people, the good thing is that it could be even a day job. And as you see here, these are just some, not all, it's not extensive list, but some of the companies that support Apache Cassandra in one way or another. For example, I think AWS was donating some servers last I remember. Yeah, we have contributors from Netflix, Apple, maybe you heard about the court recently. We have Paulo on our PMC from Bloomberg. We have Stefan. Like, we have people from like really a lot of companies. And the good thing is that you can hear also about the use cases of Cassandra around, and like hear from some of the contributors from those companies and hear very interesting stories, and get to network with different people. So there are really plenty of ways to join a project and become one of the contributors there. So as I said, it could be just, looking for a side project. It could be just a student. I can tell you, as a student, I was trying to do some research around PostgreSQL and like going around the community there and asking. I don't think it's different with Cassandra. I think we had the Google Summer of Code. We had really great work done there. There was recently also a high school student actually who, when he was graduating, he made a project with Cassandra. That was really cool. I think he added the between operator. Uh, which is great. So that's another opportunity for people to, from that young age to start contributing and be part of something really that is practical and not just the school projects, and get to network and learn real world stuff through open source, which I find it's amazing. You can be a researcher. As I said, as a researcher, I was just doing some stuff around Postgres. So why not with Cassandra? There are different algorithms and stuff that someone can play with. We've been hearing people from now and then like contacting the community and saying, oh, we are doing researching about these patterns and that patterns in the code, and we wanted to discuss this or that with you. So that's another way to contribute in various ways, and to provide different type of either feedback or I don't know, you can do so many things. Or you can be an engineer and code, as you know, people love that. Or looking for a new hobby. Since recently, we were very not that far away. It was COVID and pandemic time, and there are a lot of people who are staying home. And you watch Netflix, they have great stuff, but at some point you're like, I want to do something, to use something more like not just chilling around. So some people are like, oh, why I don't just dig into some open source projects and do something interesting? Or troublemaker, as I said, like finding bugs and discovering stuff and digging into the code and raising and like testing. Testing is a big part, and like we love those kind of people too, because that's really great. Like when they like, no one likes to have bugs, of course, and we aim not to have them, but that's the realities. There will be always something. So it's great when people are like, I was playing with this and that, and I really saw this or that behavior or bugs and stuff, and I want to figure out how things go and to help and report. And there's super interesting discussions that start out of there. So troublemakers in a positive way, let me put it that way. And as I said, enthusiastic person. You can be just, I really enjoy open source. I really enjoy the topic. I want to dig in and do some stuff and help. And I enjoy the people that are there, hopefully, and collaborate. So, ASF and Cassandra. A little bit about how things work. I actually posted some link here at the bottom. I'm not sure whether it's really visible because it's a bit... I didn't choose the right color, let me put it that way. It's on me, but I hope you can see it. If not, I can paste it later. But overall, if we think about like a pyramid, I wouldn't think about it as a hierarchy, but because it comes naturally one after another, maybe that's the best way to, just to picture it here. So start very often with users and enthusiastic people, as we mentioned. Then we know there are a lot of developers who are interested into different stuff to work on open source projects, either to their work or like just in their free time. Then committers is something like those are the people who have the uh, right access to the repositories of either Apache Cassandra or any other Apache project, because this applies to all the Apache projects as a hierarchy. So committers are people who are regularly contributing in different ways. Yeah, many of them are code-wise, but it's not necessarily always that. And it's not only about code, as we know in Apache, they say community over code. But overall, those are people who are contributing, and they became trusted contributors by the PMC, and they are given right access so they can commit to the codes and make reviews. I mean, everyone can do a review, but you know, in order to when you submit a patch, in order to be committed, you need two committers to be involved. So that's why I'm saying they're very important for the health of the project, and we are very thankful for our committers. PMC, or this is the Project Management Committee. Think of them as people who think about the long-term, like the long-term plans for the project, and they ensure that the project, ensure the project longevity is there. They would vote new committers, they'll try to promote the project, they'll look around the roadmap, they'll help new contributors, they'll oversee how things are going so that the project could be in a very good state, and they report to the Apache Software Foundation. And they are again voted, like some PMC members need to suggest a person, and then voting happens. Okay, so, but really, how to become a contributor? You're like, oh, you said a lot, but we didn't really, we didn't really heard of anything that that would really help, right? Let's get to this. So our webpage was nicely updated the past few years. And we are very thankful to the people who did again contributions, and we're very thankful to the people who spent a lot of time on that and gave it a new facelift and updated documentation and stuff. So we have this section which is contributed to Cassandra, as I have a screenshot here, and you can see there is a lot of information about where to start, how to build and integrate in your IDE, testing, code style, and all kind of other things. So I would like to encourage everyone who would like to start contributing to just head to Cassandra.org and look through those things. But as I said, it's not necessarily that contributions are only code-wise, as you will see. So this is an excerpt, but it's a very important one. That, as I said, writing a new feature is just one way to contribute to Cassandra project. Making sure that supporting tasks such as quality, documentation, helping users, they're as important as this, because you know, if you don't have a documentation or you didn't test properly your features, well, that's one that doesn't mean a very good health for the project. So all of that really matters, and it's extremely appreciated, and I would argue that it's sometimes even more important than some of the code that is written, because if the code is hidden somewhere, no one knows about it, you know, it's just hidden. Helping users it's really a great thing. Like we have the Stack Overflow and all the ASF Slack channels and mailing lists and places. So it's always great to collaborate with others, have some good discussions from there. A lot of good ideas are also coming up, and people from, you know, new connections, new networking, you hear about different use cases, different perspectives, and that's really the beauty of open source. It's the teamwork. So tracking new development of new features, ongoing challenge. Yeah, that's pretty much what we said now. So, and as I said, it could be quite intimidating with such an old project as Cassandra to just dive immediately into the hardest parts of the code base and start working on the hardest topics, which eventually, if you are interested, it will happen. But I would probably suggest to people to start slowly first by, they say that even just to get acquainted with the environment and how to set it up and how what's the workflow, how to find reviewers and stuff. Just start with a few small things. I can tell you actually a fun story. When I started, I still remember. Uh, I figured out I wanted to fix some not to help command, like some information in the help command. And that's straightforward, right? Most people will say. But I think I submitted 3 times the patch, and on the third time, a very, very respected, really nice PMC member said, "Oh, great, I just fixed one more thing and I committed it. Thank you a lot for your contribution." I'm like, "Well, you fixed what I did, so technically you did it, but yeah, that was, I'm glad you appreciate that I at least tried." So things happen, but that's part of the fun, and you need time to like just wrap up your mind around everything going on. Our CI systems could be also sometimes intimidating, and there are a lot of stuff going on. So that's why I suggest before diving into something more complicated and overwhelming, just try to go through some like update documentation, the website, go through the repos, like just try some low-hanging fruit tickets just to get acquainted with how things go. Investigate and fix some bugs or just add additional tests. That's really great, and we always need more, I would say. So as I said, not everything is coding. So here you can see again, a reference to our web page. We have the user list, the Slack channel, Stack Overflow, where you can meet Aaron. He will really be glad to help everyone, as we already know. And of course others. I'm just joking, but because we were talking what amazing contributor he is, and like we all appreciate his what he's doing there for people, sharing his wisdom. Contributors meetings, even just arranging a meeting like this one today, that's also great. It's always appreciated because it helps also for the networking, exchange of ideas, discussions. Many times it's technical, but you see, today it's not really technical. It's more relaxed about just a topic that bothers a lot of people and comes up a lot of times. People really are coming around and saying, yeah, I just don't know where to start. And that's perfectly fine and natural. So it's good to have that type of discussion too. Or just help with social media, I was actually spending some time on our LinkedIn page, and at some point we had, I think nowadays it's not really active, but the Twitter account, or now X, I was spending time there and trying to help to promote any new features and new developments on the project. So those kind of things are also great. We have people who are doing marketing because it's open source. Everything is contribution. Nothing is, it's not like it's a company project that you have people that you have different teams and dealing with stuff. Like you don't have the documentation team and the marketing team and all this. Everything is the goodwill of people like you and me. So those kind of things are really great. And yeah, I encourage people to get more involved into such kind of stuff. As I said, working on documentation is extremely important. I can tell you actually something. When I started in Cassandra a few years ago, on the website, there were a lot of to-do sections, which wasn't nice, but thankfully we have great community, so it was work in progress, and quickly the website now has everything filled and like really great documentation and people who added a lot of value there. How you can join the documentation, which technically now uses nowadays Antora, which processes ASCII doc. We have all this info again on our webpage. This is just an excerpt that shows it. So I encourage people really to help with that. Sometimes even if you want to learn as a user Cassandra, it's great because you go through docs and stuff and you try test stuff and you realize that something doesn't work the way it is there. So there was some kind of mistake, or something was changed, but it wasn't necessarily updated in the documentation someone missed. So you figure that out, you submit a PR, we change it, people are happy, the next person doesn't stumble in the same thing, and or you just see that there is something missing and it helps, you know, your thought process if you document it and see someone. And like you're trying, if you are trying, for example, to learn Cassandra, and you're like, yeah, but this is missing documentation and stuff, and you start digging, and then it really helps, at least for me, from my perspective, to write down my thoughts. And then if you share it with the community for the website, there's a benefit and side effect you can get it, that someone more experienced will come and say, yeah, that's actually right, that's not right, explain something, have a discussion, and you actually learn from the process and at the same time contribute for the other people. So that's also awesome. You can also write a blog post. I think we had pretty much a lot of great series of blog posts around the new releases, like around 5.0, there were the SAI and the new compact, not compact strategy, the new compaction, the unified compaction strategy, and a lot of other stuff. But you can write, I think that we had even for our CI systems and other stuff, you can write about anything. You can write about your use cases and things, anything that is related to the project, and it might be of interest of anyone. Yes, I just encourage people, write a blog post. It's easy. We have the Cassandra.com dev ASF Slack. Just ping people there. They'll tell you like what should you do, but you can just share a Google Doc or create a PR directly, but Google Doc is probably the easiest to start with the blog post. Or you can just give a talk, you know, there is ApacheCon where we have Cassandra tracks every year. And there are people who support like leading the track, or like people who have talks and they're talking about the future of Cassandra and all kind of good topics around Cassandra. And ApacheCon is just one thing. I think there was Cassandra Forward organized last week. And there were some other events like the Cassandra Summit 2 years ago. So yeah, and in these meetups, they're also great because they're virtual, and Planet Cassandra, where we record everything and post it there. So that's the benefit, that you can anytime reach and watch the recordings after that. Considering that we have people from all over the world and collaborating and in different time zones, everything being recorded, that's awesome. I'm really thankful for the people who are making it happen. Or you can just make a workshop. I know that there are people around the community who are doing amazing workshops to share some wisdom and help people to ramp up on their Cassandra knowledge. So that's another way. And I think it was during the Cassandra Summit where we actually announced this Apache Cassandra Catalyst program. And we announced the first batch of catalysts, who are people who really grow the community and support with all kind of stuff that we said, is like the workshops and the talks and just spreading the word. And that's really amazing. And that program just shows it, and that's really valuable. And we want those people to know it. That's really appreciated, and we want more of that if it's possible. Yeah, but some people are like, but I really, really, really want to code because I have that amazing idea and nothing bad about it. So let's get to that point. Well, what you can do, you can start with some bug fixing. Then my suggestion for new contributors, again, as before I mentioned, you can be a seasoned engineer with plenty of experience, but when it's a new code base, a new project, just to, you know, first to see how things go, I suggest people start from some just low hanging fruit Jira ticket. Do some quickly, wrap it up, see how it goes with reviews, with CI and other things, just to see how the process goes. So they are marked in Jira with low-hanging fruit in order to make it easier for people. I believe that our PMC member, Josh McKenzie, who is creating, I think, almost every month, some kind of a summary around what's going on update around what's going on in the community. He's also normally posting links for new contributors for like low-hanging fruit tickets and stuff. So I suggest you also follow actually that those reports because they're very interesting. It's a summary of everything going on. So if you cannot follow all the topics, like there you can find a lot of good stuff. So you can also discover a bug and fix it. That's great. That's another option. You don't have to be a committer or PMC in order to review submitted patches and to go and help. If there is something that you think you can be helpful, that's actually quite appreciated. And I encourage everyone who has anything to share and who is like, oh yeah, I know about that problem and I see that guy is doing this, but I think we can do something else and like just, collaborate. So I encourage you just go ahead and do also reviews. I personally learn a lot also from those reviews all the time, especially if I review something from someone more senior. It's very interesting, and it's different perspectives, so it's a great thing to do. Writing tests, that's also great because you also learn through that a lot of stuff while writing tests. It's not necessary that it should be just brand new one. You can just improve some existing ones, check some coverage that is missing something, or just play with them and see what can be done differently, because that's the beauty again of open source. We're all different perspectives. So yeah, we cannot, I'm pretty sure that everyone can adapt to all those things through different lens. Or you can write new ones, as I said. Performance improvements. Unfortunately, we don't have regular performance testing in Cassandra, but we have great contributors who are doing on the side some performance testing, but it's not part of our CI. So anytime anyone is doing any performance improvement and testing and stuff, that's really, really great and appreciated. And I encourage people to do it because, that's part of the for Cassandra, scalability, performance, availability, those things are pretty much, it's logo and it's famous for that. So anything in that area, it's always appreciated. New features, as we said, their CPs, the Cassandra has proposals. I'll talk about them in a bit. But yeah, you can just go and check the existing ones. There are discussions around them, there are tickets that people work on, there are also epics with tickets assigned. You can help others if they are working on something too. It's not necessarily that you're just, reading through them and discussions, but you can also join the work. That's quite fun. Or new CPs, if you have a great idea, you can definitely create one. So, as I mentioned, these are the Cassandra enhancement proposals. That this is a process for the process for that. So, what's the idea is that when there is some feature that is not necessarily just a small ticket, and it can take you most of the time. They take a lot of time and dedication from people for something. So you have a great idea and you think that cool new feature, you can build it. You can spend a few weeks or months and do something. Yes, but things are quite complicated in the distributed systems world, not only Cassandra. So the process is here actually to help. What it does is that people write a early proposal and start a discussion. Then the feature gets an endorsement. Technically, it is voted by PMC and committers, I think, are binding votes. But I would say that anyone who votes, their vote will be considered why it is like that. If someone says I'm -1, even if it's not a binding vote, for sure that person will be like, there will be a discussion with that person to understand better because there might be a very valid and good reason. So all opinions matter and we want to hear more points of view. So don't be shy, please. So the idea is that you can have these early discussions, go through this, get an endorsement, get maybe even some help somewhere, and to make it better. Because you may work on something on the site and just come with it ready and think that it's great, and you invested a lot of time, and all of a sudden to be told, oh, but we actually consider this, and it might not be good because of this and that. There might be a lot of changes that people request, or there might be even like parallel work in that domain or area that you're working on. And it's just good, for us to be on the same page and to know what's going on, and before investing too much time to be able just to catch up and come up together with something that will really move forward. And it's good also to have someone on the PMC, for example, or committers that will be able to help with the reviews and testing and stuff, so that the feature can land in the project. So if you are not a committer, for example, this will help you also to get like mentors and people who can help you land this thing. And you can find whoever is available through this process. So it's really here. It's really here to help and to facilitate early discussions. Well, still an acceptance of CP is not the final product, so it cannot guarantee that some initial discussion does not guarantee that the final work or stage that is gone it will be in. There is a lot of technical work after that that needs to be done, but it's a start and it's a phase. It's an instrument for technical difficulties to be discovered early. And non-technical objections to be handled before the work starts. And there could be even a discussion how to split it into smaller phases, how to collaborate with each other, like have some epics and stuff, how to make it manageable. We have here I posted a link to a page that we have around the CP process. So I hope that might be useful for you. You can go ahead and read there more in details, because we we documented really well their things, and yeah, it would be great if you go. So anyone can initiate a CP, but in general, you shouldn't do it unless your intention, we have really the intention and the capability to complete it. I mean, yes, things happen, and some CPs are in progress and they stay longer in time. We have those, that's true. But in general, if you are starting, you should be sure that what you start, you have the time, at least at that point. Yes, things happen, life happen, we all understand. But if it's just, oh, I'm thinking, but maybe I'll do it, but maybe I'm not gonna do it, and I don't know, and I'm not sure, then maybe better share the idea with someone else who will have the time, or I don't know. Just try to be really intentional with those, because they're really time consuming. Okay. Before you start coding, I already showed you that on our website we have some part for contributing and development. So I would like to point out that we have there some kind of guidance. So I think it's great if you before you start and you're wondering how, what, where, you go ahead and check there. But just a few things to mention here. Before you try to report something, or before you start working on something, first always check Jira, because I can tell you it has so many things that are already there. So it's very useful first to do a quick search and see what's going on, create some new early issue. Don't just go and work on something and after that submit it, because it may turn that someone else was already doing something, or I don't know, there are all kind of sides. So the sooner you flag what you are doing or what you plan to do, the more help and guidance you can get. And that could be also, it can save your time. Literally, it can save you some time and be very helpful. And it's interesting to collaborate and network with the others. It's good to also ensure that you're updating your tickets, and that's a way you can get some feedback. So don't be shy, don't be worried. We all have all kind of updates. They not always make sense, or maybe it makes sense now, but not tomorrow. So I think it's great just to share ideas and values sometimes, and sometimes you don't even know where to start. Just say it, I don't know where to start. Can someone give me some pointers? And I'm pretty sure there will be people who will be happy to help with that. Um, Yeah, ensure that you're using really the statuses of Jira. I think we had, for example, the needs committer, which was a new one for when you are looking for people for committers to review or help with something from committers' perspective. So you can use that one. Well, work in progress when you are working on something, just patch available when you are ready to signal that something is ready for review. And from there, I think just reviewers will mark it. Review in progress and ready to commit. And at the end, you will get some committer who will, when the work is done, who will commit it for you, and probably they will help you also with running CI. We currently have two CI systems. One is Jenkins, which is hosted for which even infra is helping, but at the same time we have configuration for Circle CI, and people can use, for some of the tests they can be run there, and we have configuration in the Apache Cassandra repo if you check the .circle CI. But also in order to run some of the heavier tests there, you need probably paid accounts. So some contributors have, but not always, not all of them. But these are options that we have. Okay. So these are some things to mention. It's a good practice also to, if you know that someone, one thing that I do a lot when working with the code is I use git blame, and it's not about to complain about, oh, who wrote this code? Don't get me wrong. It's more about, oh, who are the people who actually know what's going on, and probably I can pick them on Slack, or I can tag them on a ticket and ask them. It's more like pointers to see, or to see what are the old tickets when certain things were added, and maybe something was not commented in the code, or it wasn't always clear, you can just go through the PR or the ticket, and you can read a bit more there and see how things landed there. So that's why I'm saying git blame in a positive way, not blaming anyone for anything. Some fixed rules which will make your life better and easier while working on the code, and will speed up your reviews if you follow them. I encourage those of you who want to work on code and who haven't checked it. We have the code style convention that we follow. The code must be testable. There were some rules in 3 for contributing, and like some mentions about how we test and what we test. Patches will only be applied to branches by following the release model. Normally what we do is only in trunklet new features and improvements. In released already branches, we call them stable because they already released and people are really using them in production. We hope so they do. And we try to keep them stable so that in patch release we don't break anyone. And normally they're the patches land. So currently I believe we maintain 4041, 50, and trunk is on the way with the cord and DCM. 30 and 311 were out of maintenance, I believe, when 50 was out. So it's not that you cannot suggest something if it's really important, and if you find someone who can look at the patch and review and make a release for you on those branches, it can work. But it's just due to the nature of the open source, like we just don't have enough people to support more branches, to help people with more branches. But if there is something super urgent, I bet like some security vulnerability or something, maybe you can get some help on all the branches too. But for now, for all plus, and only bugs go into pre-trunk branches, the stable ones. Testing is important, as we said. Please strive to add new tests. The more the merrier. It makes our lives easier later. We try really to be very careful not to break compatibility between the different versions, because with the upgrades and all those big clusters in the wild. We don't want to make people's lives hard. I think the community learned their lessons and they are very strict about that. They really aim to not break people and not to do unnecessarily compatibility change or to announce if there was something that really there was no other way to do it. Sometimes life happens, but we try to at least document that and help people to go through that. Also, contributions must be covered by the Apache license, of course. One way to search for issues that you can work on, just to start with. I posted some filter here. Of course, this is 4.0 like alpha beta. You can just put some different fixed version. This is just a small example. Search about the Cassandra project in Jira. You can search for bug, task, feature, anything. I believe that we have labels for the different components if that's something that you would like to do. And for complexity, as I said, for first contributions, it's probably good to start from some low-hanging fruit just to see how things go and to scratch a bit around and see the workflow before starting something bigger. Submitting a patch, again, thankfully, some contributors added very detailed instructions to the web page, but let me go through this quickly. Normally, we do just a branch in our own fork. The merge path in case of bug fixing. Currently, as I said, we start from 4.0, 4.1, 5.0 trunk. Of course, something might be just relevant to 4.1 or like 5.0, so it's not that necessarily you go always through that, but this is the merge path here. And that's another good thing. You would like probably to confirm the affected versions or where your patch will be accepted, because sometimes if something is very invasive, maybe the community will say, well, this sounds like a risk, it's not justified, so let's do it on trunk only or the latest version or something. Like, it really depends. So it's good before starting probably to confirm the version, and a good place to do it is probably SF Slack, the Cassandra dev channel where the devs are hanging out. These days, you can just ping there and say, hey, I really wanted to work on that. Can anyone help me? We have actually, I forgot to mention it in the slides, but we have this tag in ASF Slack Cassandra Mentors, and you can just ping them. And this is a group of, I think, 10, 12 volunteers, maybe more nowadays. I haven't followed the updates, but those are people who said that I'll be really happy to help people who haven't been working a lot on Cassandra and will need some help, and or even anyone. So if you ping them, because people are in different time zones, that's great, because whoever is available will respond to you. Otherwise, if you ping just one person somewhere, there is this just back and forth, and you might not get a timely response. So that tag was done literally with the idea that we all work a sync, and whoever is available can help you quickly, so you can go quicker, do your stuff, and ask your questions and get some help. Code style we mentioned already. There is a guideline available at the project website. Add new tests before you are done, and run CI to ensure nothing got broken, there are no regressions. But for many new contributors, they don't know really where to run it, so that's okay. You can always submit a patch and say, hey, I tried to run some tests locally, but no one expects that you would be able to run all of them. They take a lot of resources and time. So you can just say, hey, I will need help, someone to run CI for me and help me and tell me how to check the results. We have also that cool tool, Butler, where you can see whether there are regressions and how things are going. It just compares previous runs of Cassandra to your branch, and you can see whether there were failures already for some of your tests. Because unfortunately, it's not only about failures, it's also about flag tests, which we love in the community. There was a lot of work going on there, and I don't say it really love, but yeah, it's a lot of work and it happens, and that helps a lot, that tool that I mentioned. It's important also to view changes txt, where you write just a ticket and you write a short description there. You just add a line saying what change you did. Sometimes we also update news txt, which is for new features or for something that people need to consider during upgrades and or compatibility changes or deprecations. Anything like that will be in news txt. There is a checklist, that's why I say review checklist. It's on the website that says what you need to do before you submit your branch and patch. You can submit either branch or just a patch. Most people do just a PR from their fork to the Apache Cassandra repo, and just that's the easiest way to go through a review process. Because with the patch you have to have just comments on the ticket and stuff, so sometimes it's just easier on a PR, so that's what most people do. But it's up to you, there are options, and we'll value any of that. Squash your commits post-review before a commit, that's a good practice, and I believe on the website there is this like guideline how a commit should look like it starts with the Cassandra ticket number, and then you provide short description, and then you say patch from this and this person, reviewed by this and this person. Sometimes this is just written from the committer who will commit your work, but I'm mentioning it here just for awareness. Because if you do all this in advance so that the committer can just come and commit it, I can tell you that they'll appreciate it, because you'll save them some time, and they'll have even more time to help with even more stuff, which is always good. So appreciate it if you do it. Building an IDE integration, we do have some detailed descriptions again. I would encourage everyone to go to this web page that I linked here, the development IDE. But in general, as I said, fork the Cassandra project, clone it from your own fork. Cassandra is a Java project, so you need Java SDK. Currently, we use, I think 4.0 and 4.1 are on Java 8, Java 11. But since 5, we have Java 11, Java 17. We use Ant minus P will show you what kind of task we have, and if you are curious, you can get acquainted with build XML where all the Ant tasks are defined. But for the win and for some quick wins here, I would say Antrio Clean is your best friend. Because if everything goes wrong and you know it's not you, it's just the environment get messy and everything, you can just do Antrio Clean and start over. So that's why I'm mentioning it always works. Antjar or Ant, but I would say I personally always run Antjar, because that ensures that I have everything that I need to have as artifacts. And then Ant generate idea files. Most people use IntelliJ IDEA. Eclipse, NetBeans, they're also option, but I believe that there are very few people who use them, and they have way more problems with them. So I would personally encourage people to use just what most of the people use, because then you know you're not alone when you hit issues. But of course, it's up to you. You might be just seasoned with other preferred tools, and that's perfectly fine with you. So, but if you use IntelliJ and generate idea files is where you generate everything. Now you also need Python 3 for Python distributed tests, SQL Shell and Cassandra D-test repo, though we have the Java distributed tests since a few years too, but this still exists, so Python 3 is what you need there for that. General advice, and with this I'll wrap up, because I see there's some I don't see the questions, but I see that it's blinking the chat, and there are like a lot of messages, so I want to go through them and to respect also your time and not overflow here. But in general, don't take anything personal. Reviews take time. If you see that something is not picked up for a review, just ping people and like go to SF Slack, or just in the, on the dev list or something, and say, hey, I'm looking really for someone to take a look who has time. That's great. Sometimes reviews start, but someone gets dragged into something, life happens, all kind of stuff happen, and they need to get back to it, or someone else will come in. It's just open source. It's really, there are a lot of volunteers, so with that comes the risk that people come and go, things happen, they have time, they don't have time. So it's not personal, it just can happen, not always. And if you really use the tools that I mentioned, like for example, the Cassandra mentors in SLF Slack and all those things, I think you'll be in a pretty good position, and that's very helpful for things to move forward. Sometimes patches need to be rewritten, but that's okay. It's not because something is totally wrong. Sometimes it's just you are missing some historical information or something, and like there are some rules that are unwritten, and that's okay. Things get better. Um, don't take anything personal. People are really on this project. People are really super excited. Sometimes they have very very hot discussions, but it's always with the same goals to do the best and to keep really Cassandra in a good shape. And sometimes someone can say, yeah, you know, they'll shut me down or something. No, that's not true. If someone is trying to say something different, it's most likely to trying to help you in their own way. So don't take anything personal. Don't like it could be overwhelming sometimes because there are too many things going on. Uh, but I can assure you that the more you dig into things, the better it gets and the better you understand the dynamics. So don't be intimidated and please start. You are very welcome, and we would like to see all kind of contributions, not only code, as I said. Could be marketing, could be just the user list, could be the documentation, like testing, performance, whatever you can imagine, anything. Anything is really great and really appreciated. And it's always great to collaborate with amazing engineers, which come with different backgrounds, different points of view, different use cases. I think it's very, very interesting. And please never be ashamed to ask questions. Like, sometimes questions even just point to people, hey, we didn't do a good job here to like explain this or to make it work in a certain way, and that's why questions are coming up. So it's really great, and like everyone would be happy when they know the answers or they have time to help you. So we really want to encourage everyone to ask their questions. And with that, it's a wrap on my end, and I think we'll have 5-10 minutes for some questions, and I'll be really happy to respond to you. But I want to encourage, like, if you at any time need me, or like I wasn't clear today, or have questions, or you have feedback or anything. Bernardo, you have a really cool cat. Is it a cat or a dog? Sorry, I got distracted there.
Yeah, it's a dog. It's an amazing dog.
It's a dog. Okay, it was walking behind you. So if there is anything, please feel free to ping me on Slack, or I left here my email. I'll be always happy to respond. I'm sorry if I'm not always super fast. I'm trying my best. Don't take anything personal, as I said already. So yeah, please feel free to ping me anytime. I'll be very happy. So let me get to the chat and see.
Yeah,
What
Ekaterina, I think we covered most of them.
Okay, I didn't
I
see them, so I trust your judgment. I didn't.
Yeah, I know that somebody asked about like what's a good way to go through the Cassandra Jira. But Bernardo had a good response to that, posting something that Josh had put out a while ago. So I hope that works. Um, oh, hey, here's Pedro. What's the best way to find a reviewer? Ask in Slack for Cassandra Dev.
Yeah, just pinging Cassandra Def and say, "Hey, people, I have this thing. Anyone has time?" And as I said, also use the at Cassandra Mentors if you want it. If you want quicker response, this will ping like like 10-12 people, and anyone will try to help when they have time. So yeah, I totally encourage it. Just ping there. It's okay. No, Cassandra Mentors is a tag that it's like a alias for 10-12 people, and you can use it. For example, you go to Cassandra Dev and you make like
Oh, like an
at
at
Cassandra
symbol at.
Mentors. Yeah, so
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
it's
Okay.
Cassandra Mentors, and this will ping them. I can share the slides. Yeah, that's okay. I can share the slides if that will be helpful. That I can do that. I can send them later to Aaron, and he can figure out where
Yeah,
to.
to add to that, the presentation will also be available on YouTube.
Yep. So that should cover it, I would think, but yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I apologize if I was a bit messy. As I said, I was traveling and I'm totally sleep deprived tonight. Like was moving like US, Europe, dealing with a lot of stuff. So I apologize if I wasn't completely clear, but I did my best. I hope it was
Or are
useful.
you kidding? Ekaterina, this was awesome. This was a great look at really what makes the project kind of tick. So yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
I hope it worked. Best way to find reviewer. Yeah, you can ask also the reporter, but it's not necessarily that always the reporter will be the best reviewer. People do it, and many times the reporter is a reviewer, but it's not necessarily the same person. It could be, it could not be. Sometimes it's just the person gets stuck into something and they just report it and moved on, and they didn't check how to fix it or anything. They were just a good citizen and reported it, and that's all. And they cannot help really. So depends, it's case by case. So I would say just ping people in Cassandra Dev. That's the best way to find someone. Yeah. We actually have this channel Cassandra Noise where you can follow everything that is going uh, on the all Jira updates, because in Cassandra Dev you can see when a ticket is created or closed, but in
Yeah.
Cassandra Noise you can see also, oh, that person commented or a review started. All the Jira flows and the Jira statuses, when they change, they are there. So it's pretty cool. I personally follow it because it's easy to follow what's going on there.
Well,
Uh,
that's awesome. I didn't even know that channel was a thing. Oh,
I think most of the active contributors follow it so far.
yeah.
Uh, yeah,
Oh, that's
and
cool. See, I learned something today. There we go.
no, that's great. No, that's great. I'm happy to hear that. Yeah. And Bernardo, thanks for sharing really the filters from Josh. I was mentioning at the beginning that he has those summaries on the mailing list, and the filters, those are exactly the filters I had in mind. So thanks for sharing. I think they're great and they're very helpful. I hope that people also find them
Yeah, Judge is
useful.
definitely doing a great job on curating those Jiras and giving them
Mhm.
visibility because it's
Mhm.
not always the easiest.
Yeah, we had actually when we approach a release, we normally do a Kanban. Like we had one for 4.0 before, then for 4.1, 5, so people can follow really. You go to a Kanban and you follow what's going on and what's the status and the health of the next release. So I don't think we have for the next one yet some Kanban. We are not there yet because we are not even alpha, but probably at some point we'll have. So that's another thing we try to do. Um, I love to do sections. Yeah, remember. uh, oh, Pedro, I saw the compaction strategy was my. Oh, that's amazing. That's great. That's a great story.
Yeah,
I would
that's
love
pretty
to hear
cool.
more. I would like to hear more. I would be happy to talk. Uh, okay. Four new that came to all things. Okay. Okay. Well, anyone else, if you just want also to jump in the conversation, just say something or ask something, not necessarily in the chat, that also works. So if anyone has anything, I'm still here for now.
Yeah. Otherwise, again, Ekaterina, thank you so much. This was really great.
Thanks
Like
for
I said,
sharing
I
it.
know that I learned a lot too. And I actually went through one of the first documents you showed, and I know that I was reaching out to you to try and get like my own local environment set up too. So yeah, that document's actually super helpful. Just wanted to add that as well. So.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad to hear that. Um, Oh, he shared. Okay, great exercise to learn. Okay, I'll definitely check this. The link that was shared. That was awesome. I will learn something new. I'm always curious to see what people are doing. Okay. Well, thanks everyone for finding the time to join us today, and thanks for having me, Aaron Bernardo, and thanks a lot for organizing it because I know that also takes time.
Oh, of
It's
course.
your
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
so I appreciate it. Um, yeah, so I hope to talk to most of you soon.
All
I'm not
right.
sure. Probably people are all over the place, all over the world. So I don't know. For me, it's an evening, but for some of you, maybe it's also a day. So I hope everyone has a great day or evening or whatever comes next. Yeah.
All right. Bernardo, is there anything we need to add before we cut out, do you think?
No, not really. We will announce a new date soon for the next
Yep.
talk. So stay tuned to socials, and yeah, we will be vocal about it. I will be posting the link to YouTube, also like later this week.
Excellent.
All right. So thanks everyone for joining. Have a great rest of the day.
Thank
Hey,
you.
thanks, everyone.
Bye bye.